Talk. Let's go.
What's up, everyone? It's me, your boy Ryan Flowers, aka Clutch Sports Talk, and welcome to another edition of NFL Matchups Live, man. This is it, the final week of the season. One game, Super Bowl 60 will decide it all between the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks. I'll give you my thoughts on that game. But before we get there, I want to talk about Bill Belichick. I want to give you my thoughts on that. Did he get snubbed? Or is it just, maybe he just doesn't deserve it to be a first ballot Hall of Famer? I'll give you guys my thoughts on that. And of course, I got to talk about the new man here in Raider Nation, Clint Kubiak, the new head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. Does he have what it takes to basically turn around this disenfranchised organization and make them contenders? And of course, I'll be talking about and breaking down Super Bowl 60 between the Seattle Seahawks and the New England Patriots. So you guys are in the right place for NFL talk and action. So hey, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. This is NFL Matchups with me, Ryan Flowers. Let's go.
We're going to be here all day, baby. I like this kind of party. I like this kind of party, baby.
Welcome back in, man. Hope you guys are doing all right, man. It's Tuesday. I scheduled the show an hour later than typical because I had something I got to take care of, but I'm locked in, ready to go. But before we move forward on the show, make sure if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, you see it down there below, Clutch Sports Talk Podcast as well. Find me on the Grid Network and with the rest of my social media handles down there that you guys see below. And if you're watching on TikTok live right now, because I'm streaming dually right now, make sure drop the comments, get the likes up, man. Let's get to 1,000 likes if we can do that, and everything will be cool. And if you got comments too, hey, drop them in here right now on YouTube and Facebook as well as on TikTok, man. But let's get it going. So tonight, I want to talk about Bill Belichick first. Listen, the outcry is there. Did he get snubbed? Yeah, I think so. I thought he got snubbed, but before we get to that, right, let's think about it. Bill Belichick is clearly a first ballot Hall of Famer and, 6-time Super Bowl champion. I believe he appeared in 9 or 10 Super Bowls, if I'm not mistaken. Built multiple dynasties with different core players outside of Tom Brady, and we'll get back to Tom Brady in just a second. And he's known as one of the greatest defensive minds we've had in football, not just the NFL, but just in football. And also, when you think about game management, game planning, the weekly reinvention of his teams, and what I mean by that is that traditionally, some teams, they are what they are. If they're a running team, they're going to be a running team. But the brilliance behind Bill Belichick was that every week he would reinvent his team. And that made it very hard, for teams to prepare for those New England, those Patriot teams. So a lot can be accredited to him. In my mind, he is a first ballot Hall of Famer. There's no denying that for whatever reason, right? However, though, I am a person that likes to look at everything from every angle, and I'm going to give the perspective as to someone who probably doesn't think he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. The first glaring thing that comes out to me, and we talk about Tom Brady, he struggled without Tom Brady, right? Bill Belichick, I believe, is like under 500 without Brady. Now, the argument can be made, a lot of people will be under 500 or will be above 500 with Brady, and without him would not be. Whatever. But the fact of the matter, Brady left, went and won a Super Bowl without Bill Belichick. And that's something that you cannot forget. It happened. It definitely happened. The other thing, the misses as a GM, because not only was he a coach, he was a GM too. He missed time and time again on the draft. He could never put together a decent offensive construction around Brady, especially towards the later years, right? Now they got lucky on a couple guys. They had Randy Moss come. They didn't win the Super Bowl that year. Obviously, he drafted Aaron Hernandez, Rob Gronkowski, all those other guys. But for the most part, when you look at his tenure, he didn't really draft a lot of great offensive players. So personally, I don't think that's enough to keep him out as a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think he is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Absolutely. But I'm just giving you my perspective of those who may think he probably shouldn't be. And I think a lot of it, too, boils down to just politics. Bill Belichick is known as someone that is, I would say he probably thinks of himself as an elitist. And when you come off as an elitist, it may rub people the wrong way. That's just a fact. And those who were voting, because I believe he got 40 out of the 50 votes that he needed, there were 10 people that thought that he probably did not need to be. And now, a lot of them probably couldn't even argue the fact of the stats that I provided just now. They probably just don't like the dude. And to me, that's not a fair assessment of why this guy shouldn't be a first-time Hall of Famer or first ballot Hall of Famer. So at the end of the day, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't want to hear the argument that he wasn't, because he should be. And we got some comments in here. We got my boy DJ Zamore. He says, definitely first ballot Hall of Famer. He says, Bucks were stacked. That was a plug-and-play team with any quarterback, right? I mean, granted, but the fact of the matter, it happened. Belichick didn't have any really success after the fact. Now, to be fair, the Buccaneers, after that 1 year, it kind of went sideways too, right? So remember, the Cowboys put Tom Brady out of his misery and ended his career with an ass whooping, for sure. So it is what it is. And another thing too, and I don't think it kind of comes into play, but the more recent optics of Bill Belichick, especially at North Carolina, it's not working out right now. At least, I mean, he has another season under in the future here. I don't think that should play a say in which he should be inducted to the National Football Hall of Fame. But it's not looking good. It's not looking good. So, is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? Absolutely, no doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. And I think at the end of the day, this boiled down to politics more than anything. Some people just didn't feel like he needed to have that moniker of being a first ballot Hall of Famer. Because listen, don't get it twisted. Being a Hall of Famer in itself is just one of the most prestigious honors that you can have in any profession that you partake in, whether it's professional sports, business, whatever the case may be. But then to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, that puts you in a whole nother tier or echelon of individuals. It's like the best of the best. And he should be in there because he's won. He's won a lot. 6 Super Bowls, 9 appearances. The man did a lot of winning. So voters, that's why, it's all subjective. And if you rub people the wrong way, and we can go back in the annals of history. You've got guys that have been snubbed either getting into the Hall of Fame or a first ballot. You look at like Pete Rose. Now, obviously, Pete Rose is a little different because he caught cheating or gambling, but whatever. To me, that has nothing to do with his baseball acumen. Guys like Kareem in the NBA, Kareem rubbed people the wrong way. So, they punished him a little bit. So these are all these guys that were snubbed, not because of their performance, but it's the way they treated people, right? Tony Dungy, and chat, let me know if I'm right or wrong. I don't know. Was Tony Dungy a first ballot Hall of Famer? And if he was, Tony Dungy doesn't have the same amount of success, not even close to Bill Belichick. And if he was a first ballot Hall of Famer, then that shows you right there that this has nothing to do with accomplishments or achievements. This is just a simple fact that people don't like Bill Belichick, and rightfully so. But at the end of the day, you cannot deny a guy of his greatness because you don't like his politics or the way he may have spoken to you 15 years ago at some presser, right? It is what it is. So, is he a first ballot? Yes, he is. Absolutely. DJ says, people just hate on him because his success, and they hate that he went to so many Super Bowls. He said, Hall of Fame, I thought, was based on accomplishments, not failures. Yeah, Pete Rose definitely was snubbed. Definitely. And I know he gambled on it, but come on. Like, really? And he was betting on his team to win. He never tanked the game. So, yeah, right. So it's just politics. And that's how the world works sometimes. It's not always about what you've done. It's who you know and who you pissed off or haven't pissed off. So, okay, so Tony Dungy was not a first. Okay, good. All right. So I don't know what coaches were. I probably should have done my research, but I don't know off the top of my head what coaches actually were in the NFL that are first ballot Hall of Famers. I can maybe think of guys like Tom Landry, maybe. Don Shula, I would have probably assumed might have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm thinking of who else might be out there that would have won. I don't know if Chuck Noll would have been for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but Don Shula, I'd be surprised if Don Shula wasn't. I mean, the only undefeated team to win a championship. Tom Landry, definitely, I would assume he would have to been in there. Jimmy Johnson, I don't know if he was a first ballot. I don't know. Was he a first ballot? I don't know. So he said Tony Dungy didn't go until like third or fourth time. So, okay, that's fair. So, For those who don't think he's the first ballot, I don't know, man. You really have to. I want to know your definition. Now, I gave you some ideas of why I think he got snubbed, but to me, you can't erase that history. And that history just basically equals winning. Whether it was Brady or not Brady, I get it towards the tail end of his career. Those last couple years in New England were not great. Obviously, ultimately resulting in his dismissal from the team. But you can't dismiss the rest of it before. So, Bill Belichick, hey. And I'll be honest with you, I was not a Patriots fan. I did not like the Patriots. I hated them. I hated them with a passion. But as I got older, I started to appreciate what strong organizational skills that they had. And it started with Robert Kraft, and then it kind of trickled down to Bill Belichick and then Tom Brady. Like, that was a well-run organization. And even to this day, they're back in the Super Bowl. They're back in there again. So it's a testament to the leadership of that organization. And now I'm 42. Yeah, I'm 42 now. And I appreciate those types of things. When I was younger, I didn't care. I just didn't like the Patriots. For whatever reason, I just didn't like them. So, but now I can appreciate that. So, but Bill, you're a first ballot Hall of Famer in my book. It means nothing, but at the end of the day, let's see. He says Curly Lambeau, George Halas, Tom Landry, Chuck Noll. Okay. When you say Curly Lambeau, are we talking about? Oh, Curly Lambeau. I'm tripping. Yes. You're right. Okay. George Halas. Okay, I can see that with the Bears. Tom Landry for sure. As a Cowboys fan, I knew he was in there. Chuck Noll. I mentioned him. Okay, but I think he got 2 or 3 with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, I mean, listen. If you look at these guys' career versus Bill Belichick, run circles around him. From a Super Bowl appearance, just in that. Super Bowl appearances, 9 of them, and he won 6. So, and really, if you think about it, two of them were just bad luck. Now, I will give him the one that they did beat the Seattle Seahawks. That was stupid play calling by Seattle, but give or take, he was there. He could have easily had 8 Super Bowls versus 9 or 7, whatever the case may be. But let me know what you guys think, man. Is he a first ballot or is he not a first ballot Hall of Famer? I'd like to hear your thoughts, especially on TikTok, man. Let me know what you guys are thinking there. And make sure you guys like and share the post as well as on YouTube and Facebook. So appreciate you guys on that one. All right, Raiders. Let's talk about that, man. Raiders. All right, so they hired Clint Kubiak, offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks. He's got a big game ahead of him. We'll talk about that game here in just a moment. Was it a smart move or was it just another misfire of a coach for the Las Vegas Raiders? Now, Kubiak comes from the Shanahan-Kubiak coaching tree. Is a very extensive offensive background, which obviously the Raiders need, especially an identity on offense. I'm not a Raiders fan, but I did watch a lot of them out here living in Las Vegas. I had no idea what they were trying to do. I don't know. Like, there was games where, when you take a guy so high in the draft and Genty, and then you don't even use him. Now, I get it. The offense kind of sucks, or the offensive line was in shambles. And from what I understand, the reports that I read, there was a miscommunication from the offensive coordinator, Chip Kelly, all the way down through the assistant coaches, through the offensive line. So we'll see if Clint can kind of correct that. Clint Kubiak comes from the school of thought where play action is big. Play action is key. His systems are very quarterback friendly. And their offense is based upon a run game type structure, which I think will bode well for the Raiders because obviously they need to run the football. So, and now he's put a little modern spin on it. Obviously, we've seen these offenses he's had in Seattle. And with that said, could this be a bad hire? Of course, right? He doesn't have any head coaching experience, which fine. I look at that twofold, right? It could work either way because we've seen guys get recycled over and over again with minimal or little success, right? And then you get a guy like Ben Johnson, no head coaching experience. Look what he did for the Bears, right? Liam Cohen, Jacksonville Jaguars, no head coach experience. Boom, got him in there. Even Nick Sirianni, now I don't give him too much credit, but he did find guys to put in place to help him make a Super Bowl and then ultimately win a Super Bowl. So having head coach experience, to me nowadays, it's not going to be a make or break for me if I'm a GM. Okay. Why this could be a bad hire too is that in conjunction with the limited experience, the organizations that he's stepping into, it's not like he's stepping into New England or like what's another really strong organization like Green Bay, right? Or even Baltimore. You're as a rookie head coach, you're coming into an organization that has a lot of turnover, a lot of chaos, instability, all those things. And when you're a young coach like that it's hard to overcome that. It is. The other thing, you don't have a clear quarterback option right now. Now, obviously, it's a foregone conclusion. They're probably going to go get the kid from Indiana, Mendoza. Okay, which it is what it is. Like I don't know what he'll be like. Obviously, he doesn't have, and that's a whole nother video. It's a whole other day to talk about that, and we'll get to that at some point. And with young coaches, from an organizational standpoint, you have to have patience. You can't bring him in today and then get rid of him a year or two from now, right? And the Raiders haven't really kept anybody long enough. And let's just go back to the last couple coaches. Pete Carroll done after a year. AP, he was the interim, and then he got a full year. He was done, right? John Gruden. I mean, even before that, Josh McDaniels. I think he got 2 years, 2 or 3 years. He's out of there, right? John Gruden, obviously, he got fired for those emails that were leaked out. So they have not had stability at the head coaching position. Shit, I don't even know. Like, who was their last, John Gruden probably had a long tenure twice. I can't even think about that. So that just tells you right there. And a lot of people want to know, right? At the end of the day, will the Raiders suck? Well, yeah, they probably will suck. Because you're gonna have a rookie quarterback, a rookie head coach, right? So there's other problems that they got to solve before trying to see if this guy's good or not, right? Number one, Kubiak's going to have to figure out the quarterback situation. And if it is Mendoza, he's going to have to evolve him, right? They're going to have to figure out the offensive line, right? Now, who he hire as a defensive coordinator is key too. And listen, for those who follow me for over some time now, I think that when you're an offensive guy, you got to go out and just go get you a defensive guy, like a legit defensive coordinator that's tried and ready and proved himself. And I go back to like with Sean McVay when he came on with the Rams. He was like one of the youngest coaches in NFL history. He went out and got what is his name? I forgot. It slips my mind. What was his name? Damn, I forgot his name off the top of my head. So, God, I forgot his name off the top of my head. But nonetheless, he went in and got a guy that had been around the NFL for quite some time. He's proved himself as defensive coordinator, and the Raiders actually made a Super Bowl within the first couple of years of Sean McVay being there. Now they ended up losing to the New England Patriots, and therefore, it is what it is. But look, later on in life, he went back, won the Super Bowl. Long story short, if Clint Kubiak is going to have some success, he's going to have to happen. He's going to have some guy that can come in and just run the defense and just do it. Because in my mind, offensive guys don't really care about that type of stuff. They want to run the offense. They want to call the plays. And I would imagine that Clint Kubiak is going to basically run the offense. Is it Chris Shula? Is Chris Shula going to be the defensive coordinator? And that's a good pick. So, but at the end of the day, is it fair to say that he's going to be bad in his first year? I mean, it's going to be tough. But I will say, if he can find the right guy, if it is Mendoza, and he can find the right scheme to put him in, then I can see. I'm not going to say they're going to win the Super Bowl, but for the Raiders, winning 7-8 games right now is probably a win, considering the seasons that they've had in multiple years. So I do believe in him. I think he'll be all right. I think the Raiders maybe are trying their best to turn the tide here, and we'll give Mark Davis credit for that, because at the end of the day, it's hard, man, and they've really just been terrible for quite some time. So, and this is going to be a tougher division. Obviously, we'll see what happens to Denver moving forward. There's some turmoil there with Sean Payton and his quarterback. We'll see. Obviously, Mahomes is going to be out for an extended amount of time. And the Chargers is like, well, the Chargers to me, on paper, they look great, man, but it's like something always with them. So I'm not saying it's a winnable division. I'm not saying they're going to go out and win the division, but I don't think it's a bad hire, considering what was out there at the end of the day. If you didn't go get John Harbaugh, fine. I get it. They didn't want to go get him. Could you kick the tires on Brian Daboll? I mean, really, but I think he had accepted the Titans offense according to job anyway. And who knows? They might have had conversations with all these guys before. But Mark Davis probably kept his eye on Clint Kubiak for quite some time, and his offenses are pretty good. So we'll have to see what happens as we move forward. So we got some comments here real quick as we move on. DJ says it's a misfire. So this guy, whoever this guy is, Ahmad Salah 9686, you suck. Appreciate it. You're watching. Thanks a lot. Am I the only one in here? Yeah. If you are, great. Appreciate you for popping in. DJ says Chris Shula. That's probably in reference to keep going, homie. The channel grows. Okay. Steve Jones, he says Raiders need a young DC as well. Yeah. Listen, young, old, if they can get the job done, great. But the offensive side of things, I mean, listen, they've struggled on both ends. And you look at their roster, right? So quarterback is a big need, right? They think they got the running back in Genty, right? Offensive line, you got to fix that. Tight end, you got one of the best tight ends in the NFL, Brock Bowers. Now, a lot of people probably don't really watch him play because he plays for the Raiders, but Brock Bowers is legit, man. He's legit. They can go out and find a wide receiver. Maybe they got something going, but running the football is going to be key for them for sure. 7 wins total. KC has a hurt QB. Yeah, if they win 7 or 8 games, that's a win for the Raiders. And what, they won 4 this year? Is that what I'm saying? 9 wins. I'll take it. I do believe Bo Nix is overrated as well. So that could just be me, but obviously it's not because someone else believes that too. So, but at the end of the day, if they win 7 or 8 games, Raider Nation, obviously Raider Nation is very loyal. The loyal fan base, kind of like Cowboys, but I'm a realistic Cowboy. I don't think the Cowboys are going to do much anyway. It's always talk with them, and the Raiders are kind of falling in that same type of classification as well. We support our teams, we try through thick and thin, but at the end of the day, if they can win 7 or 8 games, that'll be a victory for the Las Vegas Raiders. So, but we'll find out. But is it a bad hire? I don't think so. I think at the end of the day, again, the quarterback situation has to be addressed. The offense, the way he installs it, will be something. Maybe in 2 or 3 years they'll be competitive. So, but it's going to take baby steps. And so, but again, you look at the situation. Chicago's the prime example, right? Now I know Mendoza is not Caleb Williams, but Ben Johnson, again, first-time head coach. Clint Kubiak, first-time head coach. Both have prolific offenses where they're coming from. If he can come in and just kind of make things somewhat decent, manageable, and let's be honest, Geno Smith sucks. I mean, he turned the ball over so often that it was just like he's going to give you like 3 or 4 picks a game. And you can't win football games like that. I don't care who you are. You can't overcome that every week in and week out. So, all right, moving on. Let's get down to the big game here. What's up, people on TikTok, man? Let's get those likes up, man. Let's share the follows. Let's share the content. Let's get it going in here before we wrap up this episode here of NFL Matchup. So, Super Bowl 60 this Sunday, 3:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Nice, perfect for me here. This is a rematch of 2015, where the Patriots basically, I won't say they lucked out, but what a bonehead play call by the Seattle Seahawks to not hand the ball off to Marshawn Lynch and basically win the game, right? But instead they throw a pass, and Malcolm Butler is a legend at that point. Okay, and here we are again. So this time it's for Super Bowl 60. So as far as keys to victory for Seattle, we'll start with Seattle. Defense has to set the tone early. They cannot allow Drake May in that running game to get going early because it's gonna affect them. It's gonna affect them. This defense is best when they can pin their ears behind their back and get after the quarterback. So this is the most elite defense outside of, I think the Texans defense is probably slightly a little bit better, or they hit a little bit more. But it's out. I mean, you're talking about 1A, 1B, but I digress. This unit for Seattle is elite, and they will have to generate pressure on the outset of the game. And they're going to have to force Drake May into some situations where he will force himself into mistakes. Because Drake May, although he's been pretty good this year, right? He's an MVP candidate. He might win it. He's been prone to some like weird turnovers. So if they can get to him early and force those turnovers, then they are cooking. Now, the second thing, the run game. Kenneth Walker. With Charbonnet out, Kenneth Walker is going to have to basically pick up the load. And this is a very good New England Patriots rush defense. Look up the stats. They're about, I think, want to say top 5 in those types of categories, at least in the running game. So this ain't going to be just hand the ball off to Kenneth Walker and watch him gallop down the field. They're going to have to earn every yard that they get with this against this New England Patriots defense. So, but the point is that they're going to have to run the football. They're going to have to go on long, sustainable drives, kill that clock, and keep the ball away from the Patriots offense. Guys like Drake May, Kayvon Butte, Stephon Diggs, all those guys, those weapons that they got on the other side of the ball, keep the ball in their hands and you got a chance. And finally, for the defense, listen, limit the big plays. Limit the big plays, and they got to have big plays themselves. So Seattle thrives when they force teams to one-score games. So turnover and field position will be huge for this Seattle defense in order to win the Super Bowl, which I think it's very possible because I think this opened up, but the line kind of moved. I believe when I saw it first, it was like -2.5. Now I believe it's up to -5.5, if I'm not mistaken. So obviously a lot of people think that Seattle's going to win this game probably, right? So, and at the end of the day, when it boils down to this, it's gonna come down to this defense and Sam Darnold too, to a certain extent. Sam Darnold looking pretty confident in that NFC Championship game against the Rams. Phenomenal game. Listen, I'm not willing to say that he'll never have a bad game in a big moment because that's kind of been the thing with Sam Darnold. And a lot of people up until that NFC Conference Championship game were like, well, he's gonna choke, and the Rams will be able to exploit that, and they're gonna move on and whatever, right? But he didn't choke. Actually, he stepped up, and now he's playing for a Super Bowl. So, but keys to victory for the New England Patriots: balanced attack, kind of like Seattle. You want to run the football, you want to pass the football as well. Drake May is going to have to not make those mistakes, and fumbling has been an issue with Drake May too. I've noticed that through the course of some of the games that I've witnessed from him. Control the time of possession, also going to be key. You cannot allow Seattle to go on these long, sustainable drives, leaving them with minutes on the clock to score, because possessions are going to be not a variety, but at a premium, because both defenses are pretty good. Now, I'm not going to say Patriots are elite at it, but they're not bad. They're not bad themselves. And from the offensive, this is probably the biggest thing right here. And I think this is where Seattle probably has the edge, is on the line of scrimmage. New England's blocking, pass protection has not been that great. I mean, you go and watch Will Campbell. He's getting destroyed. Last 2 games, just destroyed. Okay? Now, they still find ways to win the games because the teams that they played, they were able to take care of business, right? I mean, they sacked the hell out of Justin Herbert. C.J. Stroud had like 500 turnovers in that game. So you're going to be playing against another vaunted defensive line that gets after it. So will they be able to hold up to that defensive front from Seattle Seahawks? That's going to be a telltale sign. And we'll see that immediately in the first couple snaps of that game, if they can hold up to that. And then how they go about it the rest of the game will ultimately determine whether they're going to win this game or not. So, I mean, really, at the end of the day, just like any other game. Right? And I know it's the Super Bowl. And a lot of these guys will say, well, it's just another game. And in reality, it's just another game, right? These guys have played in hundreds of games throughout the course of their career, but nothing big, is not quite as big as this. But it all boils down to this: the team that has less turnovers, the team that can run the football, control the line of scrimmage, will win this football game. And with that said, I believe the Seattle Seahawks will be able to do that. And I think they'll be hosting the Lombardi Trophy at the end of that game. So I like Seattle to win. I think it'll be closer. I know the spread is -5.5. So do I think they cover? I kind of like, I like where it was. I think 3.5 would have been great. I think this game's going to come down to a field goal. But I wouldn't be surprised if Seattle wins by a touchdown too. But I do like Seattle. I think there's a couple things that went into this, and like I said before, the turnovers, but really it's the offensive line and the pressure that they can generate. I think is going to pay dividends for them, and I think Sam Darnold's going to have a really good game, and I think Drake May will have a good game. I'll probably take the over in this one too. I think there's going to be some scoring here. Obviously, we saw what the Rams did to the Seahawks defense. Obviously, the Rams offense is just so prolific. I mean, what can you say about that offense? So, but I do like the chances there. So I do like Seattle to win this game and win the Super Bowl. So there you have it. All right. We got any more thoughts here? Any more questions? Nope. We got nothing here on TikTok. We got nothing here on YouTube. But yeah, man. So, obviously the game is this Sunday. I'll obviously be back next week, Tuesday at some point to get on. We'll react to it. And I'll let you guys know what my schedule is moving forward because we'll be in the off season. So I'm excited for that too, get a little break. But I've been going every week since week 1. So it's a grind. It's a grind. So appreciate for everyone that was joining, people that have liked, who have stopped by, shared, even commented, whether it was negative or whether it was positive. Hey, it is what it is. I appreciate you guys took the time to do that. But I'll be back next week for NFL matchups. This is crazy. This is the last game I'm going to match up. So I've done, I don't even know, every week. So you just do the math on that. So, but this one was a little easier because it was just one game to break down. So shout out to you guys. So other than that, man, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Make sure if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. If you're watching on TikTok, man, let's get the likes up. Let's get the followers up. Other than that, I will see you guys next week. So enjoy the game. This is your boy, Ryan Flowers, a.k.a. Clutch Sports Talk. Like I always say, never settle till the work is done. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.